Thank you very much for joining us. It's time for Women in Leadership, and my name is Lillian Muli. Our hashtag this evening, Women in Leadership, hashtag one-on-one, or SMS us using 22422. My guest in studio this evening, a phenomenal lady, beautiful, young, and has scaled and charted heights. So this is Winnie Wakesho Marami. She's Kenya's first female marine pilot, and she has made history because of that. Thank you very much for joining us in studio.
Thank you for having me.
So, like I said, Liz, you're the first female marine pilot venturing into this field. Is this what motivated you? Did you know then that there was no other woman, not just in Kenya, but I think across the world as well, that had, actually in East Africa, did you know that you were the first one?
When I was venturing into the field, I actually did not know. I just wanted to do something different. That was my goal at that time. And I always say it, that without sounding like I'm insulting the other jobs by calling them cliche, but I just wanted to do something different, not to become a doctor or a lawyer. I wanted to do something different. So when it came, the opportunity came my way, I ventured into it. And then I think when I was in second year, because it was a scholarship, when I was in second year, that's when we were looking at the statistics, and it was, I figured, okay, women are actually not really, there are not many women in this field, and that had pioneered.
Right, and so a lot of women, like you said, have not ventured into this field. Why do you think it is that that's the case? After doing this now for a while, why do you think women shy away from this?
I think the job itself, because with every rise in rank, it entails you to go to sea for about 18 months.
Wow.
for every stage. So that keeps you away from family for a very long time, and you get to sail out at sea. It's not about the physical challenges that maybe you need to do a bit of some physical work there, but I think mainly it's because it gives you that you tend to stay away from family and away at sea for a very long time. So I believe that's what has made very many women to shy away. And also, I think women were ignorant about it. They just did not know that this field, they could tap into the maritime field and join this industry.
So you've been at sea for 18 months yourself?
I was at sea, yeah. I was at sea.
Seasickness?
Not really. I didn't. When I was doing my voyages, I did not get seasick. Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about your first real-time sea experience. This is you ventured into this very male-dominated field. You're out there at sea with men. How was that for you?
It was different. It was very different and adventurous, and a bit of fear, you know, especially the first day. But because basically you're confined in this ship with close to, because my crew was a training ship, so about 50 of us, 50 to 100, I can't really remember the figures. And you see these people day in, day out, and you have to find a way and how to live with them, because you're there at sea, you're in the middle of nowhere. So it's, you want to fight for your way up there, but I learned to live with them very well. And I realized, in fact, they were the ones who really used to push me, especially on days I thought I would give up, you know. So, pretty much I learned how to live with them and accept them, and they took me in as family.
And if you're watching the clips that are running or will shortly be running, you will see the type of vessel that Liz here is in control of. So, I mean, for people who don't really understand what it is that you do, please break it down for us simply. What exactly does a marine pilot do?
Okay. What a marine pilot does is, when a ship calls into the Kenya Ports Authority, the harbour, or rather when it gets into the Kenyan territorial waters, it is not allowed to navigate in, the captain on board is not allowed to navigate in. So a Kenyan captain is usually taxied out in a small boat, and then while out in the high seas, then they board the ship out there, and then they take over command of the vessel, and then they navigate in and safely berth it for the cargo operations to start.
Wow.
Yes.
So, wow. You are fairly young. You're 27 years old,
yes.
By the way. She's 27. So this is huge. For the men, your crew, initially, before they came to respect you as the person that's in control of the vessel,
yes.
Were there condescending remarks? Did they not respect your authority? And what is the risk of your crew not actually, because this is a big vessel, so
yes.
if you're not working as a team, what goes wrong? What could go wrong? Did you experience any of that?
Yes, I actually had I had an incident once, and basically this was because I happened to sail in Egypt. I sailed in Egypt, so this was not only a male crew, but they were Arabs. So it was very hard for them to even accept, because their culture mainly, women haven't broken into this area, although they now have a female marine there. But basically, there were very many times when I felt like I could give up. I remember signing off and telling myself at that point that if I can work on board this ship, then I can work in Afghanistan. Yes, but I have learned to keep my head up high, because at the end of the day, it comes with a lot of responsibilities, because I've pioneered. And if I decide that I am going to sit in a corner and cry, although sometimes I do feel like doing so, there's nothing much I can achieve for the women who are going to come after me. So basically, even when I have such incidences, when I feel like they really do not want to respect me for who I am because I look young and because I'm a woman, I cannot give in to that. I cannot whatsoever. So I've grown thick skin now.
Right.
Yes.
You mentioned Egypt, and I think for perhaps a lady out there who's interested in studying what you studied, there's not a lot of information out there, like you said earlier, about this particular field. So where did you study, and what kind of training did you undergo?
I studied in a college in Egypt, Arab Academy for Maritime Transport and Technology. I was awarded a scholarship when I went there to study. And I did a Bachelor of Science in Nautical Technology. And basically, the steps towards this career is that you can start as low. You don't have to do the degree course. You can do even the certificate course, because there are ranks that come as low as someone called a bosun, who just basically handles the equipment on board the ship. And you can rise gradually with your experience, because the license that is given to you through the International Maritime Organization, which is the UN body that governs maritime affairs, basically, it doesn't look at your theoretical work only. It looks at your experience at sea. That's why with every rise in rank, you have to have garnered 18 months at sea. So for someone who wants to go through that path, you can either choose the regular certificate course that is nowadays offered at Bandari College, or you can go all the way to the degree course. The good thing about these courses is that shipping companies offer scholarships. And this is what I try and tell people out there. They do offer scholarships. I mentored one young boy, and he was picked by MSC and taken to Mediterranean Shipping Company, taken to school. So they offer these scholarships whereby they not only take you to school, and they also give you the opportunity to get the experience on board their vessels. So you go to on board ships, then you go to school. That's the routine.
So the take home here, I mean, the lesson learned, that this information will not automatically come to you, that you have to actually be out there and source this information, because like I said, our colleges here talk about law. I mean, when you're graduating from your O levels, you're told about law, you know, the cliches courses, medicine, the courses that our parents want us to study for. But little has been told about what you do. Yes,
and that is very true, and I think that's why I decided to become quite. Everyone asks me, you've been on the media for a lot, you know, and what do you gain out of it? Like, it's not about what I gain. I think it's high time people learn that there's a career like this one, the one that I'm doing, and I believe the only way that they can be able to understand this or get to know this is if someone talks to them about it. And I have tried on my own personal level, and I'm glad that it has opened up. Nowadays, JKUAT offers a Bachelor of Science in Marine Engineering. So even Kenya as a country has actually been able to tap into this industry and even start offering those courses here.
Is the pay a motivator? I mean, we look at Marines and their white pristine uniform and we imagine that you're very highly paid. Should this be a motivation? I mean, and of course, you know, there are those who say passion first and then pay second. How good is the pay? Is it?
The pay is very good.
It's very good.
It's very good. The pay is actually very good.
Wow.
Yes, because this is at a point you're going to be sailing a ship, and the ship owner is giving you cargo worth billions for you to sail to take to a different port. So they need to pay you in such a way that you will feel like this is my own cargo, and you do not, you just take full control of the time when you're taking the vessel out there. And also, they pay you that also that you can be able to not miss home, you know?
Yeah.
It pays up for, you know, as I say, going to sea is a vicious cycle. That's what we all say, what seafarers say. When you're out there, you miss home. But when you're back home, you miss the money out there. So you go back.
So, I mean, being out at sea for 18 months, like you said, for you as a lady, is there a child, a husband, a boyfriend involved? How do they deal with that? Actually, that's what the guys in studio were asking earlier. Does she actually go out to sea for months on end? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, so how does she cope with?
Basically, the job takes. The first contract you can get, the longest you can get is 6 months. So you will say for 6 months and 2 months off. I think it's all about having an understanding with whoever it is you have in your life. No, I'm not married, by the way, or there's no child. But it's all about having an understanding and focusing solely on your career. In my opinion, what I tell myself is that I've gotten this far, and it's been a lot. There's been a lot of challenges in what I've been doing. And yes, at the end of the day, I do hope that I will have a family and a husband and kids.
A sailor as well?
No, I don't want. We can't be too sailors.
Never a sailor.
No.
Why not?
Because I'd want to go home to someone, not going home and finding that he has left for sea.
Yeah.
You know. So, but what I tell myself is, in God's timing, and when someone comes along at any point, I always tell them beforehand, this is my life. I'll be going to sea very soon. I'll be going for 6 months. So before you preempt thinking that, oh, I want to settle down, just be able to handle when I'm away first, then we can talk about that later. So, yeah.
Okay, good to know. So where did you grow up? Tell us a little bit about growing up.
I grew up in Mombasa. I was born in Mombasa. I went to school in Mombasa, both nursery, primary school and high school too. I was in Mama Ngina Girls High School. It's only when I got my scholarship that I actually got to leave Mombasa. Yes.
And go to Egypt.
Yes, and go to Egypt.
And just, you know, for that young lady out there who feels not just in, you know, venture into the marine piloting, but that young lady out there, or that young man who feels like he's from a humble background, people who just feel like these opportunities are not there for them, what would you say to them, having scaled the heights that you have?
I don't think there's no. I don't think someone should feel like so at no point whatsoever, because every opportunity is out there for everyone equally. It's just how hard you fight for that opportunity. And I always tell when I mentor young people, I always tell them that you need to learn how to make the most of any opportunity that has been given unto you. Maybe that's where your breakthrough lies. You never can tell. Maybe it's here today. As I sit here and talk to you, someone out there may have had hear of me and give me a bigger opportunity out there. You might be out there walking on the street and you're talking to someone. So that's what I tell them. I don't think anyone should actually even think of it that way. Yeah.
Okay, so no excuses. So as we close, tell us about Against the Tide campaign.
Well, Against the Tide campaign came about when I was frustrated about going back to sea. Every time I wanted to go back to sea to garner my experience, I would get letters from shipping companies telling me, company policy, we do not employ women. So I decided to go back and ask my colleagues who I went to school with, how far have you gone with your sea time? And we call it sea time. And they would tell me, oh, we haven't gotten a job. You're so lucky you've been employed as a marine pilot. But so we're just at home. Others have changed careers. And then now I talked to other women who are already in the career. How are you handling it? They were like, oh, I don't want to rise up the rank anymore. This is fine. It's hard. So I sat and I thought, why do we have this? As in, why are we only 1%? It's the 21st century. So through that research and through reading several books, I realized it's because of barriers such as no employment for women and lack of proper living conditions on board ships for women. So I decided to talk to female seafarers, whereby they voice out their plight. as well as also encourage other female seafarers. And that way we can be able to do it on a social media platform under the hashtag. And hopefully someone from the International Maritime Organization in London will be able to hear of this is actually the reason why we are not becoming more than 1%. And once they hear of that, because social media has been seen to drive policy change, maybe we might be given a platform to sit and now we can discuss it. I don't know, this may seem far-fetched and people tell me policy change is not very easy to do, to happen, but I always look back at Wangari Maathai and look at where she came from until she became a Nobel Peace Prize winner. So I know the struggle is going to be there, but I think it's important that people understand that it's not that women do not want to excel in this career. It's the opportunities that are being denied to us. Yes.
Liz Marami, thank you so much for your time. And the hashtag is Against the Tide.
Yes.
Yeah, to support her campaign, use the hashtag Against the Tide. And your Twitter handle is?
At Liz Marami.
At Liz Marami.
All social media platforms.
Yeah, follow her. She talks to a lot of young people.
Yes.
She's ready to mentor. And ships are called her. So
yes.
it's fun that you're a girl that's in control of a ship. Thank you so much for joining us on Women in Leadership, and thank you for sharing your story with us.
Thank you.
Up next is Michael Kinney. Stay tuned.